morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever time of the day you are watching this lecture. Welcome to Brainstorming Sociology's lecture series, where this is the fourth lecture in this series. In the first, we discussed about the sociological perspectives, where you talk about all the perspectives in a different angle of society's viewpoints. Second, we talked about the urbanization. Third, we had chosen the topic modernity. And fourth, we are here with the topic middle class, which is one of the favorite topics of UPSC nowadays. And this topic has already been asked in these past 2020 to 25 near about 3 to 4 times. So it says that how the influence of the ongoing things in the society has on the UPSC examiner's mindset, and he has or she has the linkage of whatever being going on in the society being done with the UPSC perspectives mindset, so that we can have an overall understanding that how the things are impacting each section of the society. So here, industrial class, middle class, this is one of the favorite topics of UPSC from paper 2, where in Indian society we talk about in the part B. I'll highlight it and show it to you. Just a moment. Here in social structure topic, rural and agrarian social structure, caste system, tribal communities, all these are there. And in here, social classes in India, right? In social classes in India, here the middle classes in India is mentioned in the topic. So this is the syllabus linkage of where the middle class topic actually lies, just to show you. Now next, moving on, that how this topic is important from sociology's perspective or overall UPSC sociology's perspective. We have time and again seen this question has been started from 2015 onwards, then 2020, then 2021, 23, and now in 25 also. But you can see the trend increasing or trend decreasing, whichever format you can see. But you can see that the question pattern has changed. The type of engagement that the examiner wants with the student has changed. See, earlier the question was like, discuss the impact of post 1970 feminist movement in Indian middle class. So that is being asked in the form of something static that has happened in the society. But again, 2020, how does Andre Bete justify middle class in India? Again, it's a static type of question, but near about the question pattern remains same, that middle class in India is the prominent feature. So again, coming to 2021, here the question was, discuss the salient features of new middle class in India. That means the examiner wants us to know that there is one old middle class and again there is one new middle class. So this differentiating aspects we need to address the examiner from the same viewpoints. No need to have different viewpoints and learn lots and lots of books for this topic, but just have an edge of this topic with just 2 pager note where you can just use the keywords to frame any sort of question in and around middle class. So you will have a generic perspective of middle class. This is not to be a topic of having so many thinkers, so many things. No, not at all. I'm just going to have a discussion here where we will have a general overview of middle class and the things that has been asked in and around it, and what we can think as a sociological perspectives in and around the topic. In that way, you can surely have a good understanding of this topic and can write in and around this topic in any form of the question that has come. So in 2023, again, elaborate the salient features and the role of middle class in India's democracy and development. So you can see that is the topic in silos of middle class? Is the topic of the silos of democracy and development? No, it has been interlinked. So we need to have this linkages. So when what we are trying to do with these lectures are we are developing these topics. Now we are developing the topic middle class. In another class, we can develop around democracy and development. Another class we can develop around what is urbanization. So which has happened in the earlier lecture number 2. So these silos of the topics needs to be then interlinked and then connect the dots with the keywords and everything, and you will have surely good answers to write. So develop it, just go through the lectures once and then you will understand that what sociological themes has been discussed. So no need to rote learn. So she has, after building certain edge of sociology in the way UPSC asked us to have a defined syllabus and everything, go through it and then again draw these dots with these parallels that around these topics we need to have these keywords and these notes. So when this is developed, you can write any answer in that sociological format, right? See, again in 2025, the question is, describe the main features of Indian new middle class. How is it different from the old middle class? So what we had discussed, that in 2021, he had given the indication that I know about old middle class, I know about old new middle class. So in 2025, he has asked, so tell me, what is the difference? So in this way, we need to have a overall perspective of what is middle class, right? So let's see what is middle class and how we can develop and link it with current affairs, with thinkers, to have an edge. Going to the static part of this topic, where in Brainstorming Sociology Telegram channel also we have already discussed about this, that in middle class how sociological static part can be discussed, where what is middle class. If we say in a general term, what is middle class? Generally we think it from the perspective of income level, right? So when we talk about from the income level, it is like an intermediate social stratum characterized by a degree of economic stability, education and aspirations for upward mobility. So this class lies in the middle of the society according to the Anthony Giddens. He has talked about it. So I'm not going into the deep knowledge about it. Just see how that has emerged, how it has gone in and around, and then how it developed and how it is facing the consequences and everything. Just have an overview. So for this overview, let's talk about that, how that had developed. Like, is it the concept of India? No. Middle class is a feature of modern society. It first occurred in Europe and it is a product of capitalist transformation of the society. Only after the British rule did the middle class start to emerge, where we have talked about only after the British rule, the middle class start to emerge in India. Prior to it, there existed landed aristocracy, wealthy merchants, artisans and merchants. So in this way, the stage-wise development has been also a product of colonialism. Again, conditions introduced by the British which led to the emergence of middle class. So we need to just see that how the historical development of middle class has taken place. It has been in and around the constitutional character of the government based on rule of law, security of private property, modern education, peace existed, absence of major wars plus political stability, economy on the principle of laissez-faire and social reform. These were the conditions introduced by the British which led to the emergence of middle class. So again, when this developed in and around the British period, what had happened in and around what had happened in post-independence. In post-independence, we all know that how it had got more emerged during the colonialism period, where national consensus was first time defined by the middle class only. They only came out and how things were going on, lawyers and all, they fought for it, and how the middle class emerged, how the middle class society's developmental thinking developed. So this was the initial stages where in India it had developed. Again, now we go with the next part of this, consequences of emergence of middle class in India. What were the consequences that it had to face? So it had to shift towards the secularization of life goals. It had a development of consumerist ethos. Like, these are the keywords which you need to mention in answers. It has influencing market trends, advertising strategies, overall economy. So stabilization of democracy in India, demands politics for concessions. New religions such as cult sects, etc. This was being introduced mainly, not introduced mainly, but we can say that it had the ability to address the middle class insecurities which was going on in and around. So again, new religion in the form of cult and sect formed, which had an influence. So don't you think that UPSC can ask question in and around like this also? That do you think that the cults and sects have interlinkages with the growing up of the middle class insecurities? So when this type of questions comes, we need to think in this manner. We need to develop points in such manners and have a overall perspective manner thinking. Not any rote learning thinkers will help us write anymore. So this way, try to address it. So it contributed to the urbanization. It had changes in the cultural values. It advocates for policy changes, influences changing gender roles and family dynamics, engaged in social activism, impacts social movements, Me Too movement and all these movements that all in recent times also, Sonam Wangchuk and all this NEET protest, paper leakages protest, whatever is going on. Don't you think that middle class ethos are also linked with this? Because who is giving exams? It's the middle class people. Don't you think that only lower middle class or upper middle class is only trapped in this group? So in this manner, this topic, especially in 2026 times, it gets much important, right? Because we are seeing that what all the impact of the market economy, what are the impacts of the globalization, what are the impacts of the social protests that are happening, they are mainly affecting this strata. So this strata can be one of the major prospects of UPSC where it can frame questions, and you should be ready in a year or two for this type of questions. So just have the interlinkages, just have the perspective development, which will surely give you an edge. So we'll try to always link with the examples, which is in ongoing examples like iPhone 17 or the longest luxury brands that is happening. So how it has impacted, how things we see from the aspect of the conspicuous consumerism. All these keywords we'll use just to show you that this is the static linkage. Coming to the next, that what are the different types of categorization which we can think? The different type of categorization which we can think is that it has been on the basis of income level, right? On the basis of market economy. And who all talks about it in this manner? It has been talked about by the Karl Marx, the main thinker of sociology. He has talked about it in the form of have and have not. So where does a middle class lie in this format? It is not lying here, but it has termed it as petty bourgeois. What petty bourgeois is talking about? It is transitional in nature, that they are not even bourgeois, they are not even proletariat, but they are trying to link it in the middle. So it is not having the ownership of means of production, but it is being asked to do the supervision. In this manner, middle class from Karl Marx perspective lies here. So, and for the market economy on the basis of class position, Max Weber talks about it, right? Max Weber talks about it in the form of white collared service class. Middle class is the service class. All the services that is being provided in the form of clerks in the banks and all, who all are they? Do you think they are the capitalists? Do you think that they are the or the lower section of the society? No, they are the middle class. They are middle class teachers, we have middle class professors, all these are in the stratum of the middle class. So in this way, link with thinkers like Karl Marx, link with thinkers like Max Weber. So it will surely help. Okay, next we are talking about the features of middle class. So here in the features of middle class, we'll talk about the old features and we'll also talk about the new features. So what are the old features? Earlier only importance, you can't have differentiating like, okay, 1900s was the time of the old, 2001 is the time of new. No, this way segregation can't be done, but just having an overall from India's perspective, if we talk, we can think from the angle of colonized times can be referred to as old ones, and new can be referred to as after globalization that had come after 1991, which has impacts of LPG, liberalization, privatization, all these. So in that manner, how globalized world has also impacted. So here we can differentiate in that manner, but we are not going for like perfect differentiation. We are going for like overall characteristics that we can see, or we can see from the features. If we have to write answers, we can build answers or structure our answers on this basis. So in the old ones, it gave importance to societal values. Lifestyle, it paid importance to. It had importance of savings pattern. Why LIC had come, why all these stuffs for middle class had come, for that insurance had come, for mutual funds was easily occurring at that time, but it had just started. For those savings was the main priority of the middle class, that whatever has to be done after retirement, there is no scope. So how will you think? So that manner, they saved and they did all those things. Loans were coming up, so loans also middle class only took. So that trap is still there, but still we can classify overall in this manner. So it paid heed to modes of production. It had basis of skill sets. It was referred to as petit bourgeois. And the new middle class, what it is paying attention more to, it is paying attention to social movement participation. Recent these protests and whatever is going on, you can link with Me Too movements, you can link with the LGBTQ movements, we can link with all the paper leak protests that is going on, although the RG Kar protest that is going on. The downtrodden society is never bothered, and the above upper class society is also never bothered so much. As the middle class gets bothered by their children is studying outside, their families are going for jobs in the service classes, whatever service classes are there, that is being done by middle class only, right? So all these linkages, it's nothing, right? Sociology is nothing, just we need to look in and around what is going on and just have the things in that sociological formats and the sociological keywords usage. That's it. We all are able to study and think in this manner, right? So new middle class talks about consumption pattern. It is aspirational in nature. It is not at all orthodox. It has grown up to the westernized culture. It has grown up with the education as a mindset. It is as an agent of social change. It is talking about agent of social change. It is giving importance to rights. It is adapting to changes. They are the taxpayers of the society. So these are some of the ways of identification, that how to categorize it. You can have more perspectives, you can have more additions to this. Just have a thinking pattern development, that these are the ways we can develop the ideas, right? So with examples, you can always interlink that how iPhone 17 conspicuous consumption, how hyper consumption, how these are angry middle class is going to the protest. In the Nepal protest also, we saw that it was mainly the Gen Zs who are also coming from the middle class structures only, who are coming and they are protesting. Rest, if there is education, then only these protests and everything happens, right? So this manner think that whatever is going on in and around in a middle class society, how can I link it? Okay, coming with the challenges of middle class. Challenges of the middle class has been identified in just 3 to 4 points only. You can think that how it has helped. Like conspicuous consumption pattern is one of the main challenges that is seen. Fear of entering vicious cycle of poverty. We always talk of one thing, that middle class is such a section of the society which is just one step away from entering the vicious cycle of poverty if any medical emergency or anything enters that family. So don't you think that this is one of the key aspects of challenge that a middle class faces? So he is one step ahead in going into that 1 CR business to that 10 CR business to 100 CR business, and also one step away in the form of business money making ideas to down to poverty lines. So this trap of download mobility, it value consciousness, it has education system, jobs plus skill sets. This is also one of the challenges that it faces, because other high class society people are not at all bothered that if the government raises the education taxes or fees or anything which is in and around for paid for the education system. But it is not impacted. Agar 1,000 crores out of 1,000 crores, if 1 CR or 2 CR is spent extra, do you think it will affect that person a lot than a person who is earning only 1 CR around, if he belongs or she belongs to the upper middle class, and from that it pays extra? So that is the person who or he or she is affected much from that middle class strata. So how the education system, how the jobs plus skill sets is the main challenge, that if these paper leakages and everything is happening, so who is affected? Exam is not getting conducted, or if it is not fair enough, who is affected? Who is in this class? Who is in the service class? So this is the linkage, right? Overcoming narratives or discourses. There are many things that goes on in and around the society that he has or she has to face as a challenge, right? Okay, now talking about the status of women in middle class. She can talk of the reproductive autonomy nowadays, and the new middle class is just talking. Earlier it had not got the provisions, or it had not got so much rights. There were maybe 1 or 2, but it can't be said that it was in the full-fledged society. In the new middle class now, talks of reproductive autonomy is one of the basis, or people are choosing for DINK, or DINK is what? Double income, no kids. So these features are being chosen in the middle strata persons nowadays, or they are talking about the pet parents. They are not talking about the biological parents of like social reproduction they are going to have, biological reproduction they are going to have, and they will have. So they are having the rights, or talks about the reproductive autonomy. They want child or not. What is the pressure that is felt from the economic burden of the government side or anything. So they are now choosing. So these choices are being talked of. Other rights are being talked of. Like what is the societal rights of doing things. Challenges deep-rooted patriarchal mindset. So patriarchy has been overcome, not to such a good extent, but it is the new middle class which is coming out of its barrels, and they are talking about it that yes, we have to come out of it, and we will challenge it in the form of they are going to achieve some developments in the form of like office cultures, or the teaching professions, whatever that is there. They have come out of their original positions and they have entered the MNCs. The women are in the STEM, like service science and technology streams or the engineering medical streams, all these sees now the participation of women in active format, right? It has raised voices for choosing of life partners. Earlier, middle class, new middle class had old middle class had got no choice of choosing life partners. They just used to, they are now talking about live-in relationships. They are talking about that I have choose to, I will marry or not. So who can talk about this? Who has developed itself or herself in the form of a little education wise and everything. So these status of women has increased in the middle class, you can talk. So in this manner you can also link the LGBTQ linkage, where inclusive society or inclusive rights are being talked about in the new middle class sections. New culture they are calling it. So whatever ingoing things or ongoing things in the society, always link and try to develop that I will take this topic, I will take this topic, and how can I draw the bridge between these two topics. So think and have the development of ideas in these manner. Next, what are the thinkers of middle class that we can link? Thinkers of middle class we can link, there are many thinkers which you can, like we already talked of the Karl Marx and Weber, how their ideologies are getting fit with this concept. But exact thinkers who have already talked about it are the Bendix, who has talked about the middle class is the extension of capitalist ruling class. Extension of capitalist ruling class. Like GST reforms 2.0 impacts. Who were those more impactful? It was more impacted on middle class sections, right? So when they are getting impacted, who are they? Because they are the extension of capitalist ruling class. Like again, if we go with the next part, it's Andre Bete. Andre Bete talks about that he always romanticizes things. Middle class romanticizes everything. He has talked that middle class is that section which romanticizes everything. They will, like earlier old ones, they were always in the form of that, okay, we will challenge government's decisions. But now, not anymore. They are not challenging everything. They are telling, okay, if government is rising the crude oil prices, if petroleum and all are getting affected, so these prices will surely have affected us. So that's why the government has, it's just romanticizing everything, whatever is going on, right? So in this manner, you can link Andre Bete. Coming to next is Lockwood. It talks about talks of structure of middle class. It's classified as lower class and there is upper class. New middle class is the continuation of the old middle class, right? How this is being talked of the structure of middle class? Police inspector's son also desires to become the same. PSU employee's son also is in PSU. Who all are these? One who is preparing for UPSC asks the other person to also. UPSC can be a high status elite class exam, but again who all are mainly trying? The middle class section are only giving the exams and all these are trying more, right? Okay, again going with the more static points and the static notes also we have developed this, and here it is mentioning more thinkers. Let's have an overall understanding of the other views of thinkers on new middle class. Anthony Giddens, it talks about the emergence of a new middle class represents a shift in social structures where traditional hierarchies and cultural norms are being challenged by more cosmopolitan, educated and globally connected groups. So these shows that what are the shift that has taken place. Again, Zygmunt Bauman, it talks about in the form of new middle class embodies the tension between individual aspirations for mobility and uncertainty of the, so mainly it talks about the uncertainty, what is happening in the form of consumerism and status. Okay, Arjun Appadurai talks about it in the form of capacity to aspire. So whenever you're writing about the aspect of the aspirational middle class, aspires to grow off from this, like I want to go in tier 1 society's college if one is coming from the tier 3 colleges of middle class. So in that manner he goes or he aspires to do so. Then you can you can mention surely Arjun Appadurai. So have a point, have a sociological development of the keywords, have those as the subheadings, and then write develop the argument in and around it, and then link in the just bracket, just mention Arjun Appadurai, because you have the linkage, right? Aspiration part he has talked about. In next is Manuel Castles. The new middle class is at the heart of the network society where information, knowledge and communication technology shape their identities, interaction and contributions to economic growth. So wherever there is concept of network society, wherever there is concept of globalization with the Middle class question. Can't you link Manuel Castles? So develop the point in and around that how the globalized world has impacted middle class. Have the subheading and then in bracket mention Manuel Castles whenever Ulrich Beck is coming. Interconnection with risk society, that whatever the things have come up, more risks have environmental responsibility, new middle class grapples with the paradoxes of individualization. All these paradoxes you can talk about it and link with Ulrich Beck. Narendra Jadhav, he talks about it in the form of education driven social mobility. The emergence of new middle class signifies a shift towards education driven social mobility. Again, aspirations of millions. When education type of question is coming and aspirations are being linked, you can't link Narendra Jadhav and Arjun Appudurai. So have these keywords. And again, I'm repeating it many a times, I know, but this is the things which the students have to follow to get a better edge, right? Again, Dipankar Gupta, the new middle class embodies the transformation of traditional values. So again, from transformation of value systems questions or any point you need to sociologically develop, link with it. Link with Dipankar Gupta. Honorable, we already discussed. Partha Chatterjee, the new middle class is characterized by its dual identity. Okay, dual identity is one of the keywords, global and local. So whenever you are talking about new middle class, global and local aspect, link with it. You can talk about it that middle class is the one who is going to all these restaurants and everything, and global and local things are being purchased, or whatever you can say about that aloo tikki burger concept. You can think, who is eating this? New middle class only is eating, no? Here in form of aloo and tikki, and then in the form of burger. So again, global and local concept linked with Partha Chatterjee. Or you can talk about in the form of that his earlier studies were there in India in this format and aspiring for the outside studies for the global part. So experience, it is characterized by the dual identity. It wants global things also, it wants local things also. A new middle class person or a middle class person has always its traditional identities imbibed in it. So with traditional value systems, you can surely link Dipankar Gupta. So M.N. Srinivas also has talked about the new middle class reflects a shift from agrarian to urban-based societies. Their upward mobility is accompanied by a shift in values, consumption patterns, and social interactions. Here you can talk about urban-based any society where you want to show the shift in the consumption patterns. You can show in the form of M.N. Srinivas. So link points always have a good sociological heading and have arguments in and around it generated with sociological keywords and one example and in bracket one thinker. For any 10 marker question, if you use 3 to 4 thinkers, if you know the understanding of the core concepts of these thinkers repetitively with these 2 pages note. So that's why saying don't have bulky notes, have these 2 pages notes of every single topic to aim these things, to have more understanding of the revising these aspects more and more so that usage gets more, right? Okay, coming to the next, this is the one of the chart forms we have used in the static notes only, where you can differentiate between old middle class and the new middle class on these aspects. You can differentiate on the basis of economic mobility, education, consumerism. In economic mobility, invest income in stocks. So this is the new middle class. Earlier, stable income was there, limited economic mobility. Education, basic education, limited higher education. But now higher education is being more talked of. They are sending people to on scholarships and everything and loans and everything to other countries. Consumerism, minimal consumerism, now hyper consumerism, embraces consumerism like lifestyle and luxury, Chanel perfumes, these Zara clothes, Nike sneakers. Whether I have less money or not, I don't know, or whether I have high money or not, I don't know, but I want these things, right? So I'm taking loans for iPhone, I'm taking paying EMIs and buying these perfumes and all these have become a trend. Who are these people? These are middle class only. Cultural values, of course middle class is always, right, a trap between, it aspires that I don't want to go in the downward channel of the society. I always want to aspire and go in the higher class society. So what all higher class does, it tries to copies and portrays that I will also try to do it at least once in a lifetime, at least once as aspiration. So all these things you can just, we have the commonsensical idea in and around it. So we can surely develop it with the sociological keywords. Cultural words, cultural values, talked about it, traditional cultural values. Now the pop culture, jazz music, hip hop dance, this has already taken edge. Global influences. Technology adoption, you can talk that limited exposure. Now all are influenced by all influencers are on Instagram and YouTube and all this AI based influencing and everything. Tech savvy, active engagement. Family structure, extended family structure now are towards nuclear families, gay families, live-in, cohabitation, pet parents. This already we have talked about. Political engagements limited. Now environmental issues like climate change, Twitter hashtags, all these are also being talked of. Work-life balance, earlier only like service class is going for 9 to 5 type of job. Now, no. Team trips, outings in corporate sectors where work-life balance is also being talked of. Work from home is part of middle-class societies. Aspirations, stability and security. Earlier, aspiration was that a middle class has to, if father is working, he will work for stability and security. Child will also work for stability and security. But now, risk-taking behavior has come up. Transnational citizens have come up. So this manner, all these development has happened in the middle class. Global outlook, limited exposure to global trends. Now, global outlook has more given to international trend setting. International media has given more things to address. Entrepreneurship has also emerged. Marriage and gender, traditional gender roles and expectation. Now women are in NDA, permanent commission, fighter pilots and everything, changing expectations of the relations. And gender roles have also, like the women are also going out in MNCs and they are the CEOs over there. So who all are they? So media consumption limited. Now active engagement has happened. Social activism limited. Again, LGBTQ, PETA and all these foundations and all already the ongoing leak protests and everything that is going on. Who all are linked to? That is going on in society. We have to just link with the keywords. Have a basic understanding and just keep linking. That's why keep writing answers. Keep writing all these notes in the keywords format and everything. So that will only help you have an understanding of the keywords, right? Okay. Next, going with the, this is one of the aspect to show you that how can you interlink with the keywords. There's nothing like specific. You can have any other example. You can also link with any other sociological point. But just to I'm just trying to show you that how this has helped you understand that whatever is the current trend going on in the society, with this current trend, I have tried to link with the middle class dimension. So just take help from this. iPhone 17 launch queues. What is this? This is status. This is the hyper consumption. Luxury cafes, matcha trends that is going on. Lifestyle differentiation or consumption creates identity. Jean Baudrillard talks about it, that consumption creates identity. So he's in the middle class society, by going to these places, it's trying to define its identity. Okay. Next, Instagram travel reels. What are we can link with? Influencer or aspirational culture. AI tools usage. Digital middle class. Mass layoffs in IT. Downward mobility, cause again a stature was there of the middle class. If this is happening, it's going for the downward mobility side of the thing. Remote work or work from home, changing dimensions of family and work. Digital commerce or home businesses, like whatever nowadays many people are selling biscuits and everything, or the earrings and everything in the homemade kind of thing, and again coming out with the branding with the influencer culture from the social media, Instagram and everything. So what is it can be? It's the entrepreneurial middle class. It is just aspecting things and it is aspiring things, right? Need protests or paper leak, merit versus opportunity of the middle class. Rising EMIs or inflation, it can be linked with the consumption trap. So these are the just I have tried to draw the parallels of whatever is going on in and around the society, how you can link with the keywords that is used nowadays. So these keywords can be addressed well with the help of the sociological understandings of the topic. If you develop this understanding part, this has given us so much of edge in building the concepts. If this understanding will be there, then you can write any sort of question that has been asked in the previous year or also in the recent times also. So try to have this edge. I will also discuss some of the questions like which can be asked in the prospect of the future prospect. Like it's not like I'm taking a guess or anything. I'm just trying to develop that how you can think. So for types of question, like, okay, let's go to the next slide. Like probable linkage of any question. If I take from this first one, let's take the first question. The first question is like artificial intelligence is reshaping the aspirations. Artificial intelligence is reshaping aspirations and employment patterns of Indian middle class. So this type of questions, how we should start with, we can use any of the thinkers like Anthony Giddens, or you can use liquid modernity, anything. Like whatever is the concept, you can use that concept, and you can show that continuous late modernity, you can show that how it has developed in and around Anthony Giddens, that how this continuous reflexivity, how things have constantly been adapted by the middle class, and this has shaped, right? Okay, in the current context, you can give examples of chat gpt, you can give examples of Gemini, you can give example of AI tools that are being used. So how it's reshaping aspirations, how they are reshaping. AI can be used for transforming the employment structure has been restructured. White collar jobs are increasingly automated. How routine coding is being done, how Ulrich Beck talks about in the form of risk society, that how employment insecurity has developed each day. IT companies increasingly expect employees to possess new AI skills. So continuous reskilling can be talked of. Anthony Giddens, reflexive modernity. Write the keyword and mention it in the form of continuous reskilling has become a necessity. You can talk about the new middle class occupations are emerging. New jobs are emerged. What are the new jobs? AI consultants, data analysts, AI policy experts. So Daniel Bell, it talks about in the post-industrial society, knowledge becomes a principal economic resource. So this is again the thing. So education has become a form of cultural capital. Who talks about the cultural capital aspect? Yes, right? Pierre Bourdieu, how he talks about it, you can link it with the education has become a cultural capital. If we don't invest in coding, robotics and AI education, then we are not enhancing the middle class. So aspirations are becoming global. So global aspect can be linked with Manuel Castle's network society also, right? So see, I am using the generic keywords only, but in the form of sociological, in the form of thinkers aspect. So just link it with it, right? Okay, in this manner I hope you can deal the first question, then go with the concluding other. If you want to show 1 or 2 critical points, you can show it, and then a value addition with Anthony Giddens and everything, or Pierre Bourdieu, Andre Bete, Marx, Bauman, liquid modernity. Use these keywords. Just don't throw sociological terms. Have it connection wise, right? Just show with simple example. That's it. Okay, now coming to the next question. The next question is, how the role of middle class in Indian economy has been there, right? Role of middle class in Indian economy. So when we are talking about this, we can talk about the startup India, how digital economy, these are linked, like how it is a driver of domestic consumption. So again, domestic consumption talks about it in the form of Jean Baudrillard talks about it. Promotes entrepreneurship and innovation. So whatever is ongoing, you can link with the LGBTQ aspect. You can link with women aspect. Women are in STEM. So you can link with the economy aspect of investments, how education wise investments have happened. You can talk about the digital economy, UPI culture and all. You can talk about that, how middle class has more involved in this, how loans have increased, how conspicuous consumption has impacted. So use these keywords, and just in and around all these keywords that we have discussed, just link it, right? Again, the question is role of middle class in contemporary social movements. So here this questions becomes easy because all the things that goes on in and around. Or okay, let's try to discuss this question. You will more be comfortably address that. Globalization has transformed the lifestyle and value orientation of middle class. How the globalization has impacted, how Anthony Giddens talks about it, how network society is being talked about by Manuel Castles. Link that will give you an edge in starting it. Like how rise of remote work, AI driven workplaces, all these Korean dramas, Korean cultures that have impacted. So you can talk about in the form of rise of consumer culture, aspirational lifestyle. See, all these questions are not going to come in 1 year. These are going to come with some other keywords changed basis in other years. So have the keywords ready. Write the keywords of year in that question, in this question. You have to just mix and match, but with the right keywords. Don't you think that whatever is globalization impacting there will not impact the social movements? Yes, definitely there will be a different keywords, but having the family aspect, having the gender aspect, having the work aspect, having the LGBTQ aspect, having the digital economy aspect, how the Manuel Castle's networking society aspect, having risk society aspect, all these aspects will surely help. So all these questions you can just go through once. Try to take help from some of the books. If you have any of the static books, you can surely take help from that, but just try to develop with the keywords that I have taught you in the last all this lecture. Have the keywords, write it in one format, write it in a 2-pager note, and that will surely give you edge that how to deal with these questions, like how the rise of individualism has happened, how you can link with the cultural flows that is taking place, how career first lifestyle has happened, how the fast changing careers, how the fast changing lifestyles have taken place, how the layoffs are being done, all these linkages. Just try to draw the dots. I hope you have understood the basics. Okay, with this we come to the end of this lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, right? And try to join this channel so that you have a better perspective of the static content from there, and you can give feedbacks. You can surely have overall understanding of the topics and then write answers. So with this, we end this lecture over here, and I hope you just keep practicing PYQs, the questions that I have shown. Now try to address it with these keywords. Just try to map those keywords and just try to frame it in and around it. You will surely get edges, right? Try to have this development of practicing keywords. You will surely have, and just make a chart of all those current examples that we talked of right now, all those AI models and everything, all those educational protests that is going on. Just have what is good, having one keyword, having 2 to 3 keywords, having just one example and applying it to multiple questions will surely give you that understanding that how to use one example in different types of questions. So don't try to mug up so many examples. Develop examples, and especially in sociology we have examples so much in and around us that we don't need to find out examples. Whatever is going on, whatever you are reading for the newspapers, you are reading for history, geography, anything, you have to just link with the sociological aspect of it. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and you will surely give feedbacks in and around it to the team, and just join Brainstorming Sociology's Telegram channel, so have a more developed understanding of what is going on in sociology in that format, right, in the static content. I hope you will join me for the next lecture. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.